Hi. Hey guys, so I know everyone always wants to start with the tutorial or the walkthrough, so I'm going to go over products I used and stuff after the walkthrough. You can watch the walkthrough right now. So what I'm first of all doing is cleaning off the area with rubbing alcohol. Now I'm using a fine eyebrow pencil to, I think this is the L'Oreal Definer, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm using that to mark where I want my hairline to go to, and then marking in individual strokes to show the pattern in which my hair grows out. Sometimes your hair will grow out towards your face in like the form of edges. I clearly have no edges, so that's why I'm doing them all, like my hair all pretty much grows back. And I'm just making sure, I spent a lot of time on this because I did want to ensure that it was 100% perfect. I didn't want it to be a completely round hairline. I didn't want it to be too far close to my eyebrows. So that is the reason why I did that. Now I am doing the strokes. What you do is you put the pigment in the cup that you have, and you take the needle, you dip it in, and you draw a stroke on your skin. Once you have the strokes drawn, you can stipple towards the back of your hair, like towards the back of your hairline where your hair actually is, to add thickness. The strokes are a medium to hard pressure. You shouldn't make yourself bleed, but there's a potential for a little blood. You know what I mean? Like, you might not be bleeding at all, but you're like scratching right at that border where there might be blood. You know what I mean? And then I'm using the clip to clip up my hair just to see where any finer pieces are, or just to see where any of the bald spots, I guess. They're not bald spots, it's just sparse hair. You know what I mean? And then continuously doing that. I'm not going to talk over it the whole time, so I will let you guys watch and see the procedure that I followed. So this is what it looks like before. Just wanted to give you a quick glimpse of that. You can get a better understanding of what I'm doing here. I'm starting at the line that I want my hairline to start at, and I'm dragging it back into my hair. I'm dragging it pretty far back into my actual hairline so that it blends. I don't want it to be like a stark line where my hair and the microblading starts. So as you can see, there's a little bit of blood there. Like I said, you're right on that cusp of blood and no blood. At least that's kind of how I can explain it. It's hard to it's hard to tell you. It would be easier to show you, like holding your hand, but whatever, regardless. Trial and error, like I said, start out lighter and build up your pressure as you move on. And then I'm just carefully placing the cuts where I want them to go, because that is what you will be doing, is cutting your skin. Now I'm starting more with the stippling. If I had shorter hair, I would do more so stippling than the long strokes that I did. But it's fairly simple. You just see where there's a little bit of flesh color, and you poke some pigment in. Now I'm taking a large amount of product on a Q-tip, and I am rubbing the product in, the pigment in, to the cuts to ensure that all of the cuts that I made have pigment in them. And I'm using a pretty decent amount of product. Like, I want it to be wet. So after about an hour of waiting, I'm taking a makeup wipe. These are the Kirkland ones by Costco. And I'm wiping off the pigment. And I am going to be starting again. I wanted to make sure that I gave enough time for the pigment to fully set in and really saturate the cuts. Then I am doing the exact same procedure again, just without the eyebrow pencil in the place this time, because I knew where I wanted it to go to, and I knew where I had to make the cuts. And for both the straighter cuts and the stipples, I did ensure to use a bit more pressure this time because I wanted to make sure that that pigment really stuck in there. And this is the finished result, and on to the products that I used. Now, I want to premise this by saying that I'm not a professional. I worked as a hair and makeup artist, hairstylist and makeup artist. I've never done microblading. I know all my friends in the beauty industry were messaging me and being like, oh my god, you microbladed your eyebrows. Yes, I did. Or my hairline, sorry. Yes, I did. I apologize to everyone who I'm offending. I could be doing this completely wrong, but you know what? At the end of the day, truly YOLO, you know? So this is what my hairline's looking like now. It's healing still. It's a little bit red. I don't know if you can tell, but it looks a lot fuller in here. A lot fuller here as well. I do shave my hair up a bit for wigs, just so you know that's why I have these parts here. So I'm going to show you guys the products I used. I used a microneedling pen, bought it off Amazon. You turn it, you put the needles in, you turn it again, it tightens, and then you just... I did use a cheap ass pigment from Amazon, X or YX natural pigment, micro pigment cosment color. it's spelt wrong, but whatever. It's dark brown ash. It had 2 good reviews at the time of me purchasing, and that was obviously good enough for me to scratch my body with. And then I used one of these to put the ink in, and I am going to show you guys a photo of the needle I used now. So that's a photo of the needle I used. There's not really much else to say. I'm gonna do this again in 1 month from my first procedure, and that's going to further darken this part here, just make it a bit more like the hair, like the thickness back here. I'm really happy with it though. It totally brings my hairline down a little bit. I didn't like how my hairline had a dip here, so I did bring it down, and I filled in the sides here with a stippling motion. It was inexpensive, fast, and I did do a test in my eyebrow of the pigment. I just took the microblade and went. I don't recommend doing that. I would probably, if you're gonna test if you have a reaction to the pigment, do it like in your hair somewhere. I know that that seems absurd, but you want to test the pigment that you're scratching into your skin before you use it. I could fall apart in 10 years from this pigment, but I'm good now, and that's all that matters. So I wanted to bring this to you guys because when I posted it on Instagram, I had a lot of questions on how I did this, and people wanting it done, people wanting to do it. All in all, I think this cost me maybe $40, maybe $50, 40 to 60, I would say. I don't really remember, honestly, because it wasn't that expensive, but I know that for sure. So yeah, I'm going to do it again 1 month after my initial procedure, just because when you're microblading your eyebrows, you do it once, and then another month you usually go for a touch-up. So that's the basis I'm using for up here. For showering, I'm taking a couple days. I'm going to take 3 or 4 days to let it heal a bit before washing it. I heard one say wait 10 days. I heard one say wait 2 days. So I'm like, they don't know. I don't know. We don't know. I'm not putting anything on it as well. I'm just letting it breathe and letting it heal. It's not even really scabbing right now. I can feel it a little raised, but I'm gonna see if I could turn. I think you can maybe see it better there in that lighting, but I did stippling motion further back in my hairline to thicken it, and then I did the strokes. I'm not really sure what to base the scratch on. Like, I know people have been asking me what pressure did I use. The first time I did it, because in my initial sitting, I did it once, waited for it to set, wiped it off. I didn't like how dark they were. I didn't feel like it really clung as well as it could have, so I pressed a bit harder. It was just trial and error, honestly. Like I said, I've never done this before, so I'll answer all the questions that you guys have in the description or in the comments, though. I think that this is something you really have to be comfortable with doing. But teach their own. Do what you feel is necessary. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you do this, send me a photo, and do not get mad at me if you fucking hate it. Okay, don't. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that. Bye.